Welcome on your TVs there in Texas and Louisiana. We are on the Smart Money Culture TV network, as well as joining around the world as we stream on our favorite platform, Twitter, X, as we stream on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and the rest. The markets are in a complete meltdown, and we have a great show for you today. We have the great President Vit. President Vit of Liberland is joining the show shortly. We have an amazing event over the next couple of days. I will be on location with our friends Gerard Daché, and Gerard is, of course, the head of the Government Blockchain Association. We will be together with President Vit there at the event. President Vit and I have been friends for years now. As a matter of fact, when he came to Washington, D.C., he was speaking at our conference years ago, the Washington Elite AI Blockchain Summit, and he was got Liberland recognized by the Libertarian Party during that visit. So we're always very happy to have him on. He is a bit jet lagged and it is early, but he messaged me this morning, and so I just sent him the link. So we are expecting him. The President of Liberland, my friend Vit Jedlika, just stepped into the backstage. Let's add him on here.
Hello,
President Vit. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Great to see you, Bruce. It's a bit early for me, but I managed to join you, and I'm happy for it.
That's awesome. Well, I know it's a bit early. Actually, so we've been doing this 6 a.m. show. We're on TV right now in Texas, in Louisiana. It's actually 5 a.m. there. We got picked up by this news channel or this TV station about. There we go. We got picked up by this TV station about 4 or 5 months ago, and we've been doing this show every morning. So now I'm used to it, right? I'm on my second cup of coffee. I got all the news together and put together, but it's great to see it. And I know you're probably jet lagged too, right? You just flew in?
Yeah, we just flew in, but it's not too bad. For me, it's like 12 o'clock European time right now.
Exactly. President Vit and I met in Dubai years ago. We have been big proponents of Liberlanders ourselves as we move this forward. So tell us a little bit about how things are going and what brought you here to the capital of the United States.
Well, like super exciting things are happening. Like we are literally building the main building for the Liberlanders in the city center, which is something unheard of. I'm a little bit surprised, like we had like millions of media when we were driving around Liberland, but when we are actually building the capital of the Liberland, we have just a couple documentary guys, but I think it's going to come in like probably a week or two. I think the world will again be full of news about the Liberland building its the mayor's house or the presidential palace inside of the Liberland, and it's a nice brick building, 2 stories high. It's pretty exciting that it's happening, and at the same time, we actually have the first actions by the elected Congress, which is very cool because the whole Congress is running on blockchain. So we are the first ever a nation-state government with physical territory that is running itself on blockchain. And the blockchain is not the most important. The most important is the element of freedom. We tried our best to integrate the best ideas from existing constitutions into a system of governance that would limit the freedoms as little as possible, while actually still building a regular nation-state. So in Liberland, very small territory, 7 square kilometers between Croatia and Serbia. Yet I think we are literally on the way to become the powerhouse of Europe.
Well, well, there you go, President Vit, with the bold statement there. And we got a message here. Good day to you, Dr. Oleg, as well. I always appreciate you joining in the discussion. So this is really exciting. I mean, it's been a long time coming. I always tell people it takes 10 years. It takes 10 years to do stuff. And I think that's about as long you've been working on this. And we're getting some buildings. And guys, we've had these buildings torn down. We've been thrown out, right? You've really been there. But I mean, to actually have some buildings that are coming on, and you've been working in these different United Nations and the European Union and all these places. But that just must feel amazing. It must feel amazing.
Well, it does. It does. Of course, it's very satisfactory. And I was not expecting that we would have access to Liberland for another, let's say, 2 years. And then I was very surprised that in the summer last year, on 6th of September, basically 50 people were able to go in to Liberland without any problem. And since then, we have a permanent population. So we are fulfilling all the Montevideo criteria. We are not on territory of any other country. We're gaining more and more control over the territory. We have very well-defined borders. We have government now, and we are able to have diplomatic relations. That's why I'm quite excited that next time I'm coming to United States, and by the way, I'm here right now. I'm in Miami, heading to Washington, D.C. very soon for a major event on Friday. So if somebody wanted to learn more about Liberland, in our office in Washington, D.C., the Pierce Lofts, we are actually having a major party this Friday. But I'm going to come again. I'm coming for the Freedom Festival in Las Vegas in July, and I will meet there, for example, with Javier Milei, who is a big proponent of Liberland for more than, I think, 6 years. He's been talking about Liberland, and now he became the president of Argentina, right? So you can see that the idea is very strong, and that our supporters are slowly also becoming presidents in other countries. So, in a sense, we can kind of joke about it, but yes, Liberland is kind of becoming a global power hub for these ideas. That the time of these ideas simply already came.
The time of these ideas is here. It's already come. I couldn't agree more. We see it as this tightening of censorship, of taking freedoms away. I mean, here in the United States, the quote unquote land of the free. I don't know if you went out in Miami last night, but you can't even go have a cup of coffee or a beer on the Strip without having multiple police cars and police presence all over the place. We have lost our way. And, and that's why I latched on immediately to what you were doing with Liberland all those years ago. I initially saw an interview of President Vit on the TV. And then when one of my friends said, "Hey, I want to introduce you to the president," I said, "Wait a minute, that really exists. How cool." It's a new nation. And our friend Marcosi, who you and I both know, I'm sure, from Dubai, is commenting, "Love the Ron Paul background. No army can stop a great idea." And that's absolutely correct. And we've done quite a few things. So it's an amazing thing. I know we have a wonderful reception as well. I'm really looking forward to it. My wife doesn't get to do many things with me as well. She's right here in DC, so she plans to come. I don't know if you've ever met my wife, so I'm excited to introduce you. I think maybe you have. But really looking forward to that. So you're building the building on there. You're traveling around, as I always call President Vit, the happy diplomat. You're going around, and a lot of people would have gotten upset, or they would have maybe started a war, or they would have done all these other crazy things that world leaders do. And President Vit has just been constantly working behind the scenes and in front as a diplomat to push Liberland forward. How many, tell us a little bit about the makeup. How many people have applied? How many people are citizens? How is that coming along?
We've got 740,000 people that applied. So it's a nice city already in that sense. So we're bigger than Malta or Iceland in terms of population. So even kind of a smaller mid-sized nation by those numbers. And we consider all of these people nationals of Liberland. But then the citizens, we only have around 1,000, I would say 200 citizens, and around 4,500 e-residents, which those are the people that are integral part of the system. They have substantially contributed to the well-being of Liberland. So we're growing that number every day by 1 or 2 citizens and maybe 20, 30 e-residents. Right now, it's quite easy to become e-resident. It just takes $150 and you get a nice card in 2 weeks. And then you can operate on our chain. You can do all the operations, and you can also become a nominator. But if you want to become a citizen, you have to either more substantially contribute financially, or there is also a great option, 25-day settlement program, which I think it's pretty cool, because now you can, even if you don't have any money, just spend 25 days in Liberland, help us to build, be present there, test our very exciting new technologies like Uberization of police. You know, anybody that comes to Liberland and if they're e-residents, they can actually apply for the police job and they can watch their neighborhood and or they can we used it as actually completely generalized Uber. So all the jobs that are in Liberland, be it rides, be it exchange of crypto into fiat, be it building a wall, everything is now on this mobile app. So the last build, I would say, is 80% finished. So people, when they come to Liberland, they can immediately see what needs to be done and they can take part in auctions, which also is, I think, pretty cool because it's helped us to save the problem of tendering. The government always usually gets very bad price and it takes very long when it does something. But in Liberland, we have an open tender for all citizens and e-residents that they can take part of. And if we are actually dividing big projects into smaller tasks as well. So we should be getting a good, reasonable price at a reasonable pace.
Well, that's amazing. And, and just to break that out of the box for everybody a little bit. So not only is it one of the newest nations in the world, maybe the newest nation in the world, one of for sure, they are one of, if not the newest nation that's putting everything on the blockchain possible, right? So maybe talk a little bit about that. And then is it a free zone? I know we have a free zone, right, there on the border. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have a free zone that we are quite friendly with, and that is right next to Liberland in Serbia. So that's where we're placing businesses. Just last week, we had yet another Italian business moving its factory over there. But Liberland itself, I'm kind of excited that despite Croatia putting up borders, or like actually thanks, we have to be thankful to Croatia for putting up borders. So when you go to Liberland, you definitely need an ID and passport. And despite making it quite difficult, for example, for Europeans to stay more than 7 days because of their, I would say, activities against the quick development of Liberland, but also I understand their position. Like they really want only people from Schengen to come down and build Liberland at this stage. So it's not a big, I would say, mess in the sense that everybody from all around the world comes down and takes part. So because of that, mostly Europeans are being there and settling Liberland right now. So we don't have customs. If you're taking something from Croatia to Liberland and from Liberland to Croatia, there is no custom officer, which is quite useful. We don't have to deal with paying any duties to them.
Amazing. Well, I know it's been that has been a relationship that has taken a lot of diplomacy, right, with the Croatians.
Yeah. Well, I would say yes, quite a bit of diplomacy, but mostly action. We don't. We would like to negotiate, but if the other party doesn't want to negotiate, we just take action. So we've been, I think that the most important elements for opening the borders last year were the fact that Nico Milana made this video which has now more than 10 million views. If you put Nico Liberland, it's a very funny video, 30 minutes, you will really enjoy it. How he was traveling to Liberland and ultimately stick the flag in the middle despite all the resistance. And then I met the president of Croatia. That was very important as well. We had a friendly meeting, and he is now about to become prime minister. So I hope that could change our situation in Croatia quite a bit. And also the fact that Croatia became part of Schengen. They have partially lost their sovereignty over their borders. They were watched by EU what ththey doing on the borders. They could no longer throw people into jail just for going to Liberland, which was another important element. So right now the access to Liberland is open. It's more open for Schengen people than non-Schengen people. That mean EU than non-EU people, but everybody from around the world can visit for 7 days. Yet they have to face the fact that they get a special paper that they're banned from EU for 30 to 90 days if they're from non-Schengen country. But they also get a 7-day stay permit from this very same institution. So yes, it's possible people can come and help build Liberland right now.
Well, that is amazing. And so you can come, you can help build Liberland. There's also the investment, this is as one of the world's first or newest nations, also the opportunity to do things here, to invest, to be part of it is all there. And in a time when the world really needs more freedom, you are leading the way. President Vit, it is always a pleasure to have you on. I really look forward to seeing you in person here in Washington, D.C. tomorrow and continuing to help push.
Let me just mention one thing, Bruce. We are actually also finally being traded. The whole Liberland is on exchanges. We've got two tokens. One is called Liberland Dollar, and the other one is called Liberland Merit. So it's quite exciting to see that there is a value already to our nation, and merits are for the management of the country, and dollars are literally the currency. So the Liberland dollars are being traded already on multiple exchanges, and they're also going to MaxC and Bybit very soon. So a BitBuy. So that's going to be very exciting next couple of weeks.
Amazing. Are you going to be in Consensus in Austin?
Probably, yes. We will see.
We're planning on doing one of our Washington Elite Galas. So look forward to seeing you there. I know one of the MEXC representatives registered overnight. It just popped up at me. So amazing. Well, I really look forward to seeing you. It's always a pleasure, guys. Make sure to get some merits and get some Liberland dollars. That's one way that you can easily support what's going on. Not financial advice and all that jazz I'm supposed to say, but as well, reach out. And if you're in Washington, D.C. or you're around here, come to the Future of Governance and Law. It's going to be right here in Washington, D.C. You can use, you can just Google it, Future of Governance and Law, or GBA, Global Government Blockchain Association. Use Impact Money if you want to use a discount code there, and we look forward to seeing you. President Vit, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Cheers.